Let us live. We're ready? All right, I think we're good to go. Skibidi bop a doo bop a doo ba da boo. The Come Up TV. Welcome to TCU, ladies and gentlemen. I am so pumped about this podcast. Sitting next to me are two absolute legends, Dave Voelker and his son Kole Voelker. Gentlemen, thank you for coming and doing this.
Right on. Thanks for having us.
You are the dude. Let's start. Actually, let me tell the story about how this all came together, because you had sent me a Snapchat a couple years ago. I think it was about chemtrails or something. Like you took a picture. You took a picture of some chemtrails, right? And I opened the Snapchat and I see your last name is Volker, and I forget where I was at. I was in like Malaysia or somewhere. And I just messaged you back. I'm like, do you by any chance know who Dave Voelker? And you're like, he's my dad. And I just stood where I was at. I was like, holy shit, I'm talking to Dave Voelker's kid right now. It was like the biggest, what was it like? What was it like growing up with the Lord as your father?
Lots of everyone just telling me, oh, your dad's a legend, and it's just he's my dad, So
right.
it's normal to me. It's not anything I don't know. It was never anything. Everyone would just tell me oh yeah, your dad's such a legend, and I just couldn't really tell you.
I was never a legend in his eyes. Never.
That's awesome. What year were you born?
I was dad.
What's that?
What year were you born?
2000.
2000. Wow. Okay. Holy shit. Yeah. So that was even you've been the Lord and a legend a long time when you were already born.
Yeah. I was at the end of it.
You're
but
never
I got to
at the
see a
end
lot.
of it.
I've definitely seen him session before, as a young kid, so that was cool.
How the heck did you get started riding BMX?
Killer, because Evel Knievel was a hero in the 70s, and that's what I wanted to do. And we would ride wheelies everywhere. I was the best in my neighborhood. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was it. It was I would jump over anything. The older kids would make me jump further and further, and I would go for it. And I kept going for it, and they would just be so stoked. And I was stoked because I was making them stoked,
That's like that recurring theme of ADD in BMX, where that was before ADD was even a thing, but we just knew that BMX is tight because you're showing off and you're stoking people.
Oh, and somebody would talk about you, and say, "Oh, I heard you jumped over the whatever," and that's kind of the legend of the town, and that's all I really cared about.
You grew up in Santee?
Yep, it's East County, San Diego.
All right. Did you start out racing BMX?
No, I'd go to the track, but I would just jump.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. Now, talk to me a little bit about. This is the old man here telling you about your old man, but you are literally one of the pioneers of street riding. Explain to me a little bit what it was like living that, because growing up in that era, I don't think we even realized what was going on, because I think we were just riding bikes. What was it like watching that transformation of street riding?
That's all it really was to me. It was just, how could I be creative and ride my bike a different way? So when I would ride wheelies around the neighborhood, I would try to ride a wheelie on a curb. So I learned that at a young age, riding wheelie manuals.
Yeah.
We did coaster wheelies. They weren't manuals back then, but I would do them on curbs and shit around the neighborhood. And that's, just everything was an object. How do I ride this? Like bunny hopping up a bus bench or whatever,
You've always had crazy bunny hopping skills. Have you always been able to do
It was a major trick. I mean, what did we have? We had jump super goddamn high. We had wheelies and bunny hopping up shit,
How did you know that you had something special? At what point? How old were you when you realized that, wow, I'm pretty good at this. I might be able to take this up a level?
Never dreamed of it taking me anywhere. You know what I mean? I just wanted to make people trip out. That's literally what I do. And then, ninth grade, I was going into ninth grade, and a guy moved into my neighborhood, and he could do a rock walk. And I said, I want to do a rock walk because he's better than me. He could ride long wheelies and do a rock walk. So I learned it, and we started learning tricks together. Next thing you know, we were rolling down the street backwards, and people were freaking out.
That was it. Nobody'd seen anything like that before.
Yeah, literally. That was a major trick. Going down the street backwards, look at that guy, look at that guy.
Even to this day, that's why I love free coasters. When you first started doing that, what was your mental, I guess, your thoughts in learning tricks? Back then, was it you're going to keep trying it until you get it, or did you have a different way of trying to learn tricks? Because back then there was no internet. There was, you just kind of had to either figure out or see somebody do it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and like I said, I was just trying to ride a different way than everybody else and find things that nobody else was doing. So, yeah, I mean, how do I explain it? Like doing a nose pick on a boulder as I was practicing flatland, and all of a sudden the back end whipped around, and I was like, wait a minute, what the hell was that? So I sat there and learned how to do nose pick tail whips, you know, like just
I've seen
things like
footage
that.
of you do nose pick tail whips on shopping carts. You hop up, nose pick tail whip on the shopping cart, and hop off.
Yeah,
But back then it was like, was it more about creating? Because again, nobody was doing any of that stuff. Nobody was riding on walls back then. And you guys were completely breaking new ground. Not to mention you were doing it with cameras, and it was being documented. You were part of history. What it was, I think looking back for you, some of the biggest accomplishments streetwise.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
Like streetwise, like obviously you've done a bunch of stuff on ramps. When you think of some of the stuff you've done on street, what really stands out in your head as something that you're proud of?
Just being creative, like being able to. A major trick I thought at the time was I bunny hopped up one bus bench, and then there was a gap, and I landed on the other one in a manual. So, that's just thinking outside the box. So things like that I was super proud of. The basic other stuff, jumping over fences that nobody else has ever jumped over.
360 in the Brooklyn banks.
Yeah.
That's an insane one.
Right
What?
on.
Let's go back for a second. How did you get sponsored? Who was your first sponsor?
So basically, I graduated high school and I entered a contest that my friends forced me to go to. They forced me. They paid my way. The bike shop helped out, the whole deal. I didn't want to do it because I was happy, content in my town. But I figured I better do it if they're forcing me to. So I went to the velodrome, and right then and there, it kind of like opened up this whole gate of things to happen. So Brian Skura had heard of me, and he was doing shows, and he needed a rider. His rider got hurt, so he brought ramps down to my high school, and we sat in the parking lot, and he had me audition, I guess. I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah. So basically, I failed, I thought, and he called me up like a month later, and I started doing shows with them, and Dyno was co-sponsoring me, and then they sent me to a contest, and shit just happened. Like, from then on, they were like, okay, you're full factory now. Like,
What was that like? What full factory? What does that even mean?
that's what I said. I guess I get to go to contests now. What else do I do? You know what I mean? But we started doing a lot of shows and stuff with GT, and I didn't really look at magazines, so I didn't know what I was really getting into.
Mm-hmm. I always thought it was a weird, not weird, but just a different combo, the whole GT Dyno thing, where it was like two separate companies, but they're owned by the same person, basically branded the same. I mean, early on, were you psyched on the deals from Dyno? Did they take care of you?
By the way, that's brilliant, having 4 or 5 bike companies competing against your own company.
Right? Well, that's
brilliant.
that's what the BMX industry is today. It's oversaturated. It's this.
But yeah, instantly I knew I was into something awesome because I was in the factory with a shopping cart, walking down aisles.
Oh my God!
Look at these leathers. They're ugly. Like pick whatever you want. Look at those cranks.
That's the
GT
dream.
Cranks.
That's the dream.
Oh my God, dude, they were so good. Yeah, it was awesome. It really. For a kid, I didn't have anything. I had shitty bikes. All my friends had great bikes. I break everything. I didn't have anything good. I never had money growing up. I couldn't afford a motorcycle, so it was really crazy to be spoiled like this.
So what did your family think?
It's trippy because I was adopted, so we didn't have the same formula. You know what I mean? So it was a little bit different. But they were all proud of me, but they didn't really understand it. You know what I mean? Like, I rode a bike different.
So so then you started touring. Then you obviously did the world tour, right? The GT World Tour.
It wasn't. We just started doing summer tours where they had just shove you in a vehicle and a trailer and have a quarter pipe that you hang on the side of it and send you out for 3 months. Literally 3 months. You would like do stupid trips too. You'd be like in Miami, and then you're going to the 4th of July jam 2 days later in Chicago, and then back down to Orlando. Like stupid all over the country shit.
Do you still get people that came up to you and you were like, you came to Frankfurt BMX in 1991?
I love it.
Right? That's
and I am the worst. Like, I'll be telling stories tonight, and I'm way off because I don't remember exactly what happened, you know? But yeah, it's great to hear stories. I really want to write a book, by the way.
Oh my gosh, you should.
Well, it's not me writing the book. I want people to tell stories so I can read about what happened.
That's even better. That's even better. Give me some good stories from tour. Like, I know you got some good ones.
Shit, come on. 21st birthday, I was
oh man,
partying. I think it was Toronto. I have no idea. It was Canada somewhere. Out partying all night. Had a lady friend. Sun's coming up. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, shit, I got a demo at like 11 o'clock at some contest, local contest or whatever. And got there, and it's, you know, I'm all hungover, and I pulled a 720 that day. And back then, that's like 89 or whatever.
Holy
so
hell.
Not many people were doing 720. So it was really cool 21st birthday.
That's awesome. How many 900s have you pulled in your life?
Just one.
Yeah, just
Budapest,
one?
Hungary, yeah.
Is that where it was?
Yeah.
Can you tell the people the story? The footage is amazing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's funny because I couldn't ride the half pipe worth of shit. It was like 11 foot or something, and I wasn't used to it, and I was riding like shit, so I was like, fuck, I got to pull something out of a hat, you know? Like, I got to pull something off. So I went for a 9, and I pulled it, and I was stoked. I was done.
Talk a little bit about the contest format back in the day, because sometimes these modern day whippersnappers don't know that back then it was ramp and flatland.
Yeah.
And a lot of sponsored riders were required to enter both. Even if you were, you know, a sponsored ramp rider, you sucked at flatland, you had to enter both for the overall. And it was like a thing. Did you, I know you got some flatland skills.
Oh, yeah, I ended up getting a couple overalls and all that, but yeah. Dennis always whooped it. Dennis is so good all around.
Who's your main competition in your years as a pro, looking back?
Campbell should have won that first one, I thought, you know, like pulling off that 540 wall ride was amazing in Santee. Just, you know, and Grasso always had some interesting new shit. I loved it. There's so many good creative riders, Vic Murphy and stuff, you know. I just had this magic of being able to put a run together and make people trip out. You know what I mean? And that's what I focused on. I loved to entertain, and people liked it, you know?
What do you think about the state of BMX today?
Wow. It's amazing, actually. There's so much talent out there.
It's crazy, right?
How do you shine? You know what I mean? Like, I can't wait to talk about this guy
That's
it's so, I don't even know everything that's going on, but his style is like so cool, and I didn't ride that way.
Right.
I pedaled fast and I jumped big. That's my way of standing out, was to go a little higher than everybody else.
I've seen Kole blast as well. I've seen him in boost as well, but he's got the street steez.
Yeah,
you tell me a
it's
little bit about
interesting.
BMX, Cole. What do you think about the BMX industry today?
I love it. Like,
Yeah?
it's like all I do. I just like all day long. That's all I think about. And like at work, like I work at a skate park, so
Heck yeah.
I just ride all day at work, just create new things and try to like make myself smoother, I guess. I don't know. I love it. Like, it's just
He literally loves it because he does watch your show as he goes to sleep every night.
Yeah.
And he knows every word of Devin Smiley's interview.
That's
like,
Devin's the man.
Yeah.
It's got to be awesome for you as well. Obviously, you're a little bit spoiled having Dave
Yeah,
as your
of
dad,
course.
and also living in Southern California, and we're really blessed with a lot of awesome riders and a
Yes.
lot of amazing skate parks. What skate park do you work at?
Kennedy.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a recreation skate park. So I'm a rec leader.
Oh,
And I
awesome.
do like BMX camps.
Okay.
And I kind of teach kids how to ride their bikes, but like there'll be off days where there'll be no one there, so I just could sesh by myself, just like turn the lights on, and I'm there all by myself all night. Bring some buddies over there. So
Heck yeah. When did you start like actually riding a 20-inch? How old were you?
God, I'm pretty. Like, I couldn't even tell you. Like, pretty recent, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I
well,
didn't
he
take
was
it
into it with a 12-inch, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
you've been doing it a long time.
Brian Blyther took a picture of him jumping over his booster seat at my house
Holy
before
cow.
he turned 4.
Holy cow, that's amazing.
Before he turned 4.
That is amazing.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And I didn't get on a 20 until way later after all my scooter days and stuff. So,
Mhm. So you started out scootering.
yeah,
Well, you went
scooter. I
BMX,
took
then
it
back to
really
scootering.
serious. Yeah, I was BMX always just because like I had a bike, so
Yeah.
I'd ride it and like it was fun. Dirt jumps, all my buddies were into it. Like my two neighbors were super into it. Ryan and Parker, they're twin brothers. So
Okay.
they were super cool, and I was always liked riding with them. But I was just like more fun on a scooter. It was easier and it was something
Yeah.
different. No one really rode them. And dirt bikes once in a while, but I took scooters real serious for a few years, and then kind of just switched over. Just
Yeah.
like, grabbed a bike and
The
just
scooter thing was weird, huh? It was like weird when it first came
people
out.
were giving me a hard time about it and shit.
Oh, I
and
bet, I bet.
I was like, you know what? He's happy. He could
Yeah,
slam
that's all
and
that
hit his
matters.
face just like all of you on bikes. So
For sure.
let him do that.
Yeah,
That's
for
cool,
sure.
man. He could get hurt.
Yeah,
Fuck yeah.
and some of the stuff that the scooter guys can do is it's so next level. The BMX riders could never do it. But I also see the side where people are always like, especially BMX riders, like, how long did it take you to do a tail whip
Yeah.
on a bike versus a scooter? So
But
like, oh,
but
it's
that's
easier,
what I
but
would
they
tell
don't get
them.
it, yeah.
I would tell them that, hey, he's learning the skills. Watch, he'll transfer someday.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna say anything. Let him do what the fuck he wants.
yeah. He
you
never
know?
told me don't
free.
ride it.
That's
That's
the
awesome.
free part of freestyle. Do whatever you
Yeah,
want.
even
you know?
and plus you're tall as hell, so you're definitely gonna grow out of
All of a
scooter.
sudden.
How
I
tall
don't
are
know.
you?
I'm like 6'3" now, but I went into
Damn.
high school. I was like 5'3", riding a scooter, taking it real serious, and I left high school like with a few flowing sponsors. Like it was really weird. I went
Wow.
in scootering and left like flowing sponsors and jumping off my school roof and getting suspended for that. Like,
Really?
yeah, I actually did a bar spin off my roof and at my school because there's a huge bank. It's actually where Dennis did a bar spin, manual, and then whip.
Okay,
in
yeah.
the Last Chance video. That was my school, my high school. So I bar spun off it and ended up getting suspended for it and stuff. But it was pretty cool.
Did you get
all the
suspended
people knew me.
because the video came out afterwards, or like?
They saw me, they caught me, but I jumped
shit.
off before they can get me, so I just kind of did it, kind of like Little Juice's thing where you just
Oh, you
just
had the
said
footage of
move,
it?
like jump.
I
yeah.
want to see this.
the
after.
narcs knew him. So
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah, it's pretty cool
That's
that
awesome.
it happened that way. So
Do you guys ride often? When you guys get a chance to ride?
my front yard, yeah, we do.
Yeah?
Get a little lip session. We have a little box jump, so
Yeah.
get a little flatland lip sesh. But
Do you ever run front brakes?
I'll mess around on his bike once in a while, but I've never thought about putting brakes on ever.
Have
Like,
you've never had brakes on?
I did for a little at the beginning where I didn't take it serious at all. My bike was pretty much just to get where I was going.
Yeah.
And then I broke them one day, and I just kind of just was like, whatever, you know. I'll
That's a
just
weird thing, too,
figure it
like the
out.
brake
But I
this
live on a
thing.
huge hill, and I didn't have a shoe sponsor or anything, anyone hooking me up. So I lived on a big hill, and I never had shoes. All my shoes were holy in the rain, and I have wet feet. So
Yeah. See.
I was a little selfish. I enjoyed the view, but my poor son, he could go to anywhere fast, but coming back home sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate hills.
many years of that.
I don't like hills. Where, if you guys can go anywhere in the world that you haven't been, where would you like to go ride?
Ride the seawalls. That's
Seawalls
just
in
just
BCN?
because all of that. But if you're talking like a destination, like anywhere, I'd probably like Australia. Honestly, that
Yeah.
sounds pretty cool. Go
Good luck.
outside.
With
I haven't
22.
been to Australia. I'd love to go.
I wasn't that big of a fan. It was alright. I always say if you're gonna go there, go to New Zealand. New Zealand's like Australia is like the deadliest place. I'm not trying to scare you, but it's
Yeah.
like they have more animals or bugs that can kill you than any place on earth.
Wow.
There's nothing that can kill you in New Zealand. You can go barefoot everywhere.
Wow.
I don't know. It's just
That's crazy.
No,
That's
that's
cool.
good advice.
yeah.
Yeah,
Something
that's-
look. It's
awesome.
expensive.
Kids
There's
get the
some people
opportunity.
pissed off in Australia right
Oh,
now.
they're gonna be mad at me. But,
Yeah.
And it's hot. But where's the best place BMX has ever taken you?
It's crazy because I can't pick out one spot. I've been so fortunate to go like everywhere in Canada, driving around, you know. So
Yeah.
I got to see all these cool different things, and then all of Mexico, and then it's tough to point out one thing. Nothing is like way better than anything else because they all have their own personality. I think.
Right. What do you think about the Olympics? BMX being in the Olympics?
I want to hear you.
Yeah, I think it's awesome.
Yeah?
It's a great way to get it out there, especially like, I don't know. I think that's really cool because it's like the biggest platform in the world, really.
sure.
Like, so that's good.
I heard you guys talking earlier about, you know, how do you expose it to all these new eyes?
Yeah.
And I
That's
think
it
that's
right
a great
there.
way.
For
Yeah,
sure. And
absolutely.
it's funny because, you know, there's always going to be people that are against it for other reasons. You know, people don't want, you know, they feel that BMX doesn't need coaches. And that's a weird side of it, you know, because, you know, there's never been coaches in freestyle BMX where that's happening now. Well, I mean, there's coaches in BMX racing.
Racing, yeah, that's a
Yeah.
huge thing.
Yeah, but coaching and freestyle is basically just a step up from a foam pit to me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's like having a coach when you got a foam pit. So
Yeah, and and that's the good aspect of it is that now that it's a legit thing and it's going to be in the Olympics in 2020, countries need legit coaches, and that's why there's been tons of American riders. You know, Rob Darden is in China right now. He's the head of the Chinese Olympic team. Yeah, and it's awesome because somebody like Rob, who still kills it, is obviously going to be able to help, you know, a country that's not typically heavy in the BMX world, you know? So from that aspect, it's cool. It's going to be really interesting. I'm really excited to see it. And I just think it's going to be, it's awesome. And now the other cool thing about it is they have the juniors too. So when you go to these feast contests, you see little 11-year-old Japanese kids, like with the Japanese flag, like repping the country, you know? So I think it's going to be interesting.
that's sick.
Yeah, it should be good. What was your favorite contest or contest series?
The AFA days were the best.
You
dude.
love those?
Come on, like we would show up there, and the riding contest part was whatever, but the whole fucking fiasco of the hotels and helicopters chasing us, and the cities just going, what the fuck is going on around here?
Kids can't
man?
appreciate that these days.
You
because
just have
it's-
no idea.
Yeah, and it's so hard to try and explain it because obviously this generation doesn't understand what it's like not to have a computer screen, where our heroes were in magazines, and God forbid we were able to go to a contest and see our heroes that were in the magazines at the contest.
Yeah.
So much crazy shit went down. I think the first time I ever met you was AFA Masters, Columbus, Ohio, 1988, September. I can't remember motherfuckers that I met yesterday, but I know when I met Dave Voelker.
But that was the deal back then, and that's why you see these old school guys that are so like into it still. It's because we were a family.
Yeah.
We were outcast. We were not. It didn't matter if you were cool or not. It just, if you rode a bike, you were fucking family.
That was it.
Family.
It was crazy thinking about those contests as well, how there was 4 quarter pipes. And like
In a kicked ramp.
these kids today, these pot smoking kids today, could never have the stamina to go back and forth on those 4 quarter pipes. How was that? What was that like? And that was like a normal thing.
Oh, I rode one every day. You know what I mean? I had a 4x8 quarter pipe that I rode it every day, or 8x8. I'm sorry, yeah. But I rode it every day, and I'd pedal my balls off for it to practice a no-hander over and over again because Dino DeLuca said, I'll see you at the next contest when I beat you again. I said, fuck you.
Hell yes.
I remember I had a dirt path going to my quarter pipe, and it was deep by the time I was done, dude.
I'd also like to note that I think we've brought up Dino DeLuca on every podcast in the last 2 weeks. So shout out to Dino DeLuca.
Best look back in the book as far as I'm concerned.
Look back, one-footed look back, the knack X's he would do.
Rubber band.
What was your favorite trick to do?
That's a tough one too. I guess fakie stuff, you know, because just something about going backwards I enjoyed a lot.
I always loved your half bar spin fakie. You would be high speed roll back and do the half bar spin on the way out. You know what I'm
The
talking
hippie
about?
slide out.
But he'd do
Yeah.
he'd do it Indian. Like I noticed
Yeah,
that
yeah,
with
yeah.
him, and like I never knew it. Like watching him do it, I thought it was all cool. And then like I watch all the new stuff nowadays, and they're like, "Oh, Indian!" Like people like Eddie Peraza, my first person who ever called me out because I do switch 180 bars when I do them, and then I Indian out, and then I had to stop it because people were calling me out, and I was like,
It's in
"What
your
is this?"
genes.
And then-
It's in your genes.
Yeah, that's what
I
he
don't
does.
even know what you're saying. What's an
you,
Indian?
You half cab out the wrong way.
Oh, good.
That's the thing. I had to learn this too. Indian. You know what a pilgrim is? A pilgrim is, well, an Indian is when you're rolling backwards and you go the wrong way. And a pilgrim is when you're fighting it, but you win. You're fighting the Indian, but you win. So that's the pilgrim. Am I allowed to say that? I'm allowed we can do whatever we want. We could do whatever we want. Who are some of your favorite riders to watch ride?
Right now, it's easily like Boyd Hilder. Or
Yeah,
however
yeah.
you say it. I love
Boyd's
Boyd
dope.
and Devin. Of course, he's just so flawless. Everything he does is so smooth. And
Yeah, he's a shredder.
Dennis live is like Dennis and Chad at OB is like the craziest.
Oh, I
thing.
can't believe. Yeah, you guys get a bunch of
Dude, watching
shredders
Chad
down there.
like live is like he doesn't mess up.
Yeah, he's
like,
a
it's-
machine.
Everything is first try, and it's just perfect to see. You know, it's just awesome. But yeah, having those guys around to watch is really cool. So those are probably my favorite guys.
Where do you like to ride at when you're home?
Lakeside and OB.
Yeah,
OB is
OB's
just
fun.
awesome. It's just everything's perfect there, and yeah, I really like OB, really grippy.
What about you? Where do you like to ride?
The ramp in my front yard.
Yeah.
Yeah, my knee kind of bugs a lot right now, so I just kind of chill out. But I got 2 new kids.
That's right. Congratulations.
Very busy.
That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
That is
Yeah,
awesome.
Mr. Mom.
I have so many stories to get out of you, and one of them is an amazing show story that I've never heard you tell it. It's just been urban legend in BMX. I may be wrong with this. Was there a time when you at a BMX show something had happened and somebody's finger got cut off?
Yeah, that was a sad one. We were doing a Matt Hoffman's Crazy Freaking Stunt show at Orlando Universal. And I would always do this little Volker fly out, stupid little scare the crowd, grab my bike in the air type of thing. And for whatever reason, I just went to do a big one. There were some people in the crowd or whatever. I went to do it a little bigger than normal. And all of a sudden, my bike was flying above to where I couldn't grab it. My fingertips were like right there. I missed. And I went to grab it again, and I missed again. And the bike came down totally pancake, but the wheels were doing 1,000 miles per hour, you know? And it just landed on the crowd, and the girl reached her arm up or whatever, and it chopped her pinky off. We don't know what it hit. But all of a sudden, her pinky was dangling.
Oh my!
And here I am in front of 1,500 people just going, what the? I couldn't believe it. I was so sad.
How old was she?
She was probably like 14.
Yeah, she's old enough. It'll grow back.
12, 14. Yeah, she was young.
They put that thing. What do they have to call it? An ambulance.
Oh, dude, it was a nightmare.
I'm
Just
sure there's a lot of
nightmare. We had to
blood.
close down the show.
Oh.
Yeah, it became a huge deal because she was there with her nanny from New York.
Oh my god.
Yeah, her daddy sent down a team of lawyers for this
Oh my
one.
god. I
Yeah.
remember one time you were doing shows at Crazy. It was Orlando. Did you used to do shows in Orlando?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
a universal
Okay,
one.
that's the one. Okay, so then it was like Kip Will. It was Kip's last day as an announcer, and I went with Zach Warden, I think, and I forget who else was there. It was you, Kip. Was it just you and Kip?
No,
Maybe.
as in the who?
No, Matt Wilhelm might have been there.
Wilhelm,
They're doing the show, but I forget how it went down. But you might not even remember this. During the whole show, I'm like heckling you, like while you're riding, because like we're all just like, you know, we're the BMX riders in the front. It's Dave Voelker. We're heckling you, and then at the end, you laid everyone down. I don't know how many people you laid down, and you did the whole spiel where like, oh, take his hat off, and you put my hat on my lap, and I'm laying there, and it was like 10, 15 people, and you bunny hopped everybody, and then at the very end, I think where you were supposed to like tap the hat off of me, you full on ball tapped me.
It wasn't on your stomach. That's part of the skit. We move it to your sack area. And I made sure, since you were heckling, that
Oh my God,
you paid the price.
That was amazing. That was amazing.
Oh, it was amazing?
I mean,
You
it
want me to
was
do it again?
amazing for a memory. No, I don't. But it was just funny afterwards when I got to
I
tell
can do
everybody
it
that
again.
Dave Voelker ball tapped me while bunny hopping over 13 people.
There's some bikes out in the bike shop right there. Come on.
You got moves on a street bike? What's the biggest? You ever done a handrail? I'm sure you've done handrails.
Yeah.
What's the biggest
No,
handrail?
I got to tell you a bar spin story because I
give me
did one
this.
once.
Give
Me
me
and
this.
Kevin Gutierrez, we were out
The
on
Goot.
The Goot. We were out on the road doing shows, and I had never done one, but I was rebelling against him, and he had never done one, and he was rebelling against him also because it was a new trend. We didn't want to be like everybody else. So he's all, hey, let's do bar spins. And I was like, all right, let's do bar spins. Don't be a pussy. Let's do it. And sure enough, right in the show, we both did a bar spin.
Holy shit.
First try. Over the box jump.
Damn, that's awesome.
Yeah, with no platform. It was just a gap.
That's crazy. And you ran brakes back then. Well, I'm sure you still run brakes. Yeah, see, that's the
Front
thing.
and back.
Bar spins are hard with
I cannot bar
brakes.
spin his bike, and
It's
you
crazy.
run all brakes too.
Yeah.
So I don't think I could bar spin your bike.
How much your bike weigh?
Yeah, lighter than mine for sure.
Yeah?
I got a bunch of gussets, and I got a tough frame.
Oh, yeah.
So he's got a light bike.
You break bikes easy?
Yes.
Yeah.
I do.
Did you break a lot of bikes? I know you had to.
Oh, dude, like I said, I
destroy.
didn't have money, so I was scraping to have a bike that ran. Tony Murray was good friends with my best friend, and my best friend had great bikes.
Yeah.
He had all the Tony Murray shit,
Oh,
Thanks.
gracias. Where would you like to see BMX going, Cole?
I couldn't even answer that question. I don't know. Just staying like big, like keeping, because you go to the skate park and there's still like pretty young kids that are like really inspired by you. Like at my
Yep.
local park, everyone's like, "Oh, what up, Cole?" The real young kids, and they're trying to kind of duplicate what I'm doing. They're like, I could see it, and it's really cool to have like people like that, because then I'm looking at Dennis and that's me, like
Yeah,
trying to
for sure.
be him. So having those young kids, if it stays like that, that would be really cool. Like having a young audience that really likes it, because then they could easily switch to a scooter and go do a triple whip within a week,
For sure.
But then they'll never tilt a bike. Like,
But I also think that's a really good point that you bring up, that I think a lot of places that I've been, the older BMX riders don't cultivate or don't encourage the younger kids. They look at them as more of a nuisance. And that's what like sets it back, where it's like, to anybody out there that you see somebody struggling at a skate park, go help them, make friends with them, because who knows, 5 years down the road, you're going to be 36, they're going to be 24 and killing it. You guys can be best friends.
that's how I met Devin Smiley, actually. I was at
Really?
Van's HB, and I was sitting there, and I had no idea who he was, and he had no idea who I was, and I didn't have a good bike or anything. I was just chilling, and he clipped my back wheel with his peg and took me out, and I slammed, and he was like, helped me up and everything, and I was like, cool. And then my buddies are all, who just helped you up? Like, that's Devin Smiley. I was like, oh, cool. And then now look at me, I'm like, I really look up to him. He's like,
He's
and
the
I ride
homie.
his parts. I ride Devin Smiley bars and tires, and so that's really
He
cool.
is the homie.
I brought him up that way too, to where Cole would go and help kids at the skate park that could almost make it up and encourage them and maybe give them a hint, but he's been very good about being kind to kids.
That's the cool thing that you see in BMX, and I think that's a big problem, especially at skate park when it comes to etiquette, because a lot of the smaller scooter kids, they're in the way because they don't know any
They're looking
better.
at the ground.
Yeah, because there's nobody showing them skate park etiquette. And I think that as long as BMX riders keep doing that, it's only going to help everybody. Do you have a picture of your dad's the ride cover on the wall?
Yeah, there's a huge one in
They're
our
good. They're better
in our
be.
garage.
They're better be. As there should be. Let's talk about that. Obviously it's somber to talk about Ride BMX as they just made that announcement last week. What do you think about that? That was a tough one.
Was a shocker. I just saw that, and I made sure I posted that particular cover.
Hell yeah, probably
Because-
one of the best covers ever.
Dude, yeah, thanks. It's so cool, so lucky. You know what I mean?
How did what talk me through that? What happened with the cover? How that came to be?
So Losi calls me up, and he's like, "Hey, I got this special issue coming up, and I need something special. I need something different. Do you have anything?" And I said, "You know what? I was just hiking up on a mountain, and I saw something with this rock. Let me go and check it out, and we'll see if we could do it." I went up there, and we built the lip, and everything looked perfect. I said, "All right, show up tomorrow." And show up right around 11 o'clock. The lighting should be good. And he came down. He goes to where I told him. I go, "I think this angle over here would be good." I set up this whole thing, and he fucking did it, and it just worked. It was it's actually pretty gnarly. I didn't want to go back and do it for my Lord Volker video, and Eddie Roman wanted me to, and I was like, dude, I don't know, because it's fucking scary, man. There was some shit that could go wrong, and I went back and split my shin open. So
Fuck.
Eddie said he had never asked somebody to do something again.
Talk about this house 2000. Where the photos have the cameras have the screen in them where you could see it, or this is back in the developed days where you take the picture and you have to wait?
Yeah, we had to wait.
Well,
yeah.
tell the kids about that, because that's like such a foreign thing to be able to imagine, like going to shoot a photo and you have to wait a week to know if it's gonna work or not.
And I was talking to Cole about that on the way up, how I didn't care about my style much because I couldn't see myself and whatever, you know what I mean? I just went by feeling. So it's interesting to me now that you can see everything that's going on and do things over and over again until you got it exactly how you like it.
What were some of your favorite videos growing up?
Just all of it. I like the cheese video. I mean, come on, that
Yes.
thing was sick.
Yes.
Yeah. Brad Blanchard jumping that ditch from hell. That was so sick. Or was that right on? That could have been right on.
That was right on.
Yeah.
But speaking of videos, you also were one of the select few to don the Agro Man outfit. Can we talk a little bit about Agro Man, please?
I mean, think how far the sport has come since then.
For sure.
It's amazing.
I mean, the riding and the originality and the progression in the riding hasn't changed. I mean, obviously the tricks have changed, but I still think that drive is still there to put something new out there, to do something somebody's never seen.
Yeah.
Well, talk to me about Agro Man a little bit, because that was an iconic BMX video, kids. Agro Man, Google it.
Yeah, that was Eddie Roman at his best, because he's doing, high school projects and stuff, and he's got that creative mind. So he decides to make this superhero named Agro Man, and he shows up at Mission Trails, and he's like, all right, so this is what I want you to wear, and we're going to do a couple of things. I was tripping on the whole situation. I'm all, really, Eddie, you're going to want me to wear these tights and all this
Literally.
shit? Like, what's going on here? So, yeah, I ended up wearing the suit and just filming some cool shit with it. And all of a sudden, Matt Hoffman's wearing that suit in Oklahoma, killing it. And yeah, I got to be part of this crazy superhero BMX guy.
Do you have the suit by any chance?
No. Actually, Eddie just posted that he has the suit hanging in his closet.
Wow. Have you ever gone as Agro Man for Halloween?
No.
That's what I just thought about. I was like, if he does have it, why didn't he go as the whole
There you
movie?
go. This year. What's your favorite old school video? No, what's your favorite video that your dad's in?
That my dad is in.
He doesn't have a VHS player.
Yeah, I don't have one of those.
So a VHS player is kind of like a CD player, but it's these kids today.
Make sure the tape is tight before you
Cassette
Right?
tape,
put it in.
big cassette tape or something, right?
Something like that. What kind of frame are you riding now?
Me?
Yeah.
I just got a Larry Edgar. It's a 21.3 top tube, so it's really long.
Wow.
But I was riding the Courage 21 for a while with the shorter back end, but
Fly.
yeah, from Fly. So I was kind of.
Yeah.
They were kind of telling
Fly
me
style.
like maybe you should step it up to a longer back end and try it out. And David told me that, and I was like, Pova told me switch to a short back end. So I mean, I tried that, and then so I thought I'd just try it. Sounds cool.
How long have you been riding it?
How long have I been riding?
Yeah. No, how long have you been riding the frame now?
Oh, I just got it literally like a week ago.
Oh,
Like,
hell
it's
yeah.
not even built yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
So
like-
the other
it's still
clips of the
sitting
training
there, like,
facility. That's
waiting on
your old
wheels.
bike. That's what's up. Well, what bike shop do you guys use? East County. That's the one.
I like All Day, but yeah, East County's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, All Day's out there too. That's kind of like in between
Yeah, El
here and
Centro.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, we go down to El Centro once in a while. They have a really good skate park.
Where is the best place for street riding in Southern California?
Hotel Circle.
Hotel Circle. We're putting it on blast. You know where that is, Nate? Nate don't even.
Yeah, it's on the way to the beach. It's like right next to the beach.
Mission Valley.
Mission Valley.
Yeah.
Let me see. There's something else that I had cutting down here. Oh, and this is a weird one. It's not so much weird, but it's funny to talk about. The transition, when I first saw you in a magazine, if somebody says, what is that guy doing? I would say, he's riding freestyle. At some point along the lines, we stopped calling it freestyle and started calling it BMX. Do you remember these days?
Yeah. I didn't ever really think of that, though. That's interesting.
Well, I think in part is because of the X Games. They needed to call it something. And I want to say Taj Mahalic and Hoffman had talked about it. But I know, like, just thinking back, you were, like, one of the biggest pros at the time where that change happened, where there was so much going on, where the magazines were dying. There were no real core companies anymore, no rider-owned companies. And what all that spawned. I don't know. It's like thinking about that sometimes. Like, what would you consider your greatest accomplishment as a BMX rider?
Entertaining people.
Yeah.
Like, I think the only reason I rode was obviously I loved it. I lived it. People thought I slept with my bike, But just entertaining people, that's all I really wanted to do. I didn't change my ways for a contest or whatever. I was going to go out and put on a big old fucking show and and see what happens, you know? Like, I knew I was going to crash and all that shit. So, yeah, that was a big accomplishment, I think, because I didn't plan on supposedly being this big, well-known rider. I just wanted to go out and make people trip out. So
It's funny we kind of talk about that when people seek out sponsorship and they get it happen, it kind of fizzes out. But when you just ride for fun and you love it, then the good things that come along with it, you're always surprised and you're never let down.
Yeah, it was such a blessing. Like, I literally just wanted to make people trip the fuck out, and it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. So I knew I wasn't the best, obviously. I guarantee it. There was always better shit. People should have won a lot of that contest I was in, but I just knew how to piece shit together. So.
Got any good Dave Mirra stories? You guys were on dyno together.
Oh, man, that little shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was 16 when he was on GT, I believe. Just got his driver's license and would bug the shit out of me about driving. Like, he just kept bugging me, and we're driving this half pipe that is like triple axle, and he doesn't really know how to drive. And he was just, come on, Dave, let me drive. He's in the back seat just tapping my shoulders and shit the whole time, to where I finally said, fuck it, I don't care if we die, man. Go ahead, drive.
He kept it on the road?
Yeah. But, I mean, we knew he was going to be the best when he was at a very young age.
Right.
It was so obvious, his talent, and what an amazing rider.
Right.
Absolute. Like, couldn't believe how good he got. So good.
Can you still, obviously, you still have the eye, you know, you've known for a long time that this kid is going to be something amazing BMX, to when you're like able to go to a skate park and you see a small kid, that you're just able to tell that this kid's got style, this kid's going to be.
Yeah, but there's so many other factors to say, oh, he's going to make it, because there are so many great athletes back in our day that could have been huge, but they weren't because certain things happened. They blew out a knee or whatever, you know, like, but yeah, you kind of, as far as him, I honestly never thought he'd get to this level, because I haven't had to take him to the hospital, knock on wood. If this is wood, I don't know if they have wood anymore.
Made of hemp.
But yeah, I mean, this guy, I was like, wait a minute, how is he going to be successful if he doesn't have these huge balls and go for things?
Well, he's got balls.
But it's very calculated. I think he's super talented to where he knows how to control it. You know what I mean?
Do you see a lot of yourself in him?
No.
Really?
Yeah, like he cares about style and stuff. I'm like, oh,
well, there was no such thing as style back in our day. I don't think. Like we didn't. You just did it. You didn't like.
Yeah.
Try to be stylish.
That's almost the way you distance yourself nowadays, though, is to have a lot of style. You really don't see like a 17-year-old kid who's like really like, you're like, wow, like that was finished, you know? Like he did that fakie manny and he was like leaning good, like he looked good. Like a lot of them are just like forced, and it's like, okay, it happened, you know? Like he landed real hard, his head went down, you know, like, but he did it. So I think that's the way to like almost separate myself a little bit as much as I can. But I'm like, looking up to Devin Smiley so much, I can only get as far as Devin Smiley, like trying to ride. Like
he's a really good model to shape your riding.
He's
after.
a super cool guy. Every time I've ever talked to him. So
here's one for both of you. Give me some underrated riders for you growing up, and underrated riders for you now.
Well, there's quite a few, but Pete Augustin, even though he was a superstar, I don't think he gets the credit he deserves for back then.
He is. It's you and him and Eddie Roman and Craig Grosso and Craig Campbell and Todd Lyons, all those dudes that were pioneering. I don't think any of us realized what we were watching happen. But looking back now, it's like, nobody was doing that. It wasn't nobody was doing that. Nobody had ever done the stuff that you guys are doing. You know, I just think that.
Yeah.
I don't know. We lived in a really great time to watch this go. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. There's so much creativity.
Anybody else you could think that was underrated?
Yeah. Nothing's coming to mind right now. Yeah.
Who do you think's underrated, Cole?
I think Jeremiah Miller. He's pro for stolen, but he's not like they kind of dogging him, not really sending him his checks and stuff. And he lives on his own in San Diego, so he doesn't get to ride that often. But he rides for East County Bike Shop, which is huge too, because East County doesn't sponsor anyone. So like obviously Henry saw talent in him, and he's just a nut. Like this kid is just goofy footed, so he stands out a lot. And he was actually in the Vital BMX game of bike against Brock Rayford.
Oh wow, okay.
Little Jeremiah. He was a really young kid back then, but he is like ridiculous. Like at my rail, at my local park on the up rail, he'll like tire ride 3 up it, and it's like that's a chiller for him, and it's an up rail, like, and it's like the real deal upstairs, like. And it's like every time I ride with him, he's just doing something crazy. And he's got height, too. He can air, and, like, he's a really good rider. And then also Max Miller is really crazy. Like, every time I've ever ridden with him, he's
Where's Max Miller from?
Where is he from? Yeah.
San Fran.
Yeah, that he's the kid who tried to 180 bar El Toro. So
that's
just nutty. Like, that's just that kid's crazy.
What plans do you guys have for this year? 2019.
Dude, we're about to get
you're
busy.
changing diapers.
Yeah,
you're busy.
Changing diapers. We're gonna be going out to Orlando for Spring Fling and Swamp Fest.
Oh
and,
hell yeah!
yeah. So it's cool because
people...
he's going to his young thing, and then I get to go hang out with a bunch of older wheelie
What
guys.
is Swamp Fest? It's like March 30th, the end of March.
30th, yeah, 30th.
And we got Old School coming up.
Old School and,
that's in
at Woodward, the best place in the world.
Oh,
so.
that's in April, right?
No, that's March.
No, that's March
That's
this
March
year,
as well.
like 22nd or something.
Oh wow, there's a lot of things going on. This
Yeah,
this
it's
month.
a busy month.
Yeah, that's
Good one.
That's crazy. Give me some good X Games stories because you were there from the beginning when it all started.
Not really. Yeah, I came out of retirement in '97 to show my friends in San Diego what I do. Because they didn't know what the fuck I was doing, They knew magazine photos or whatever, but they've never really seen me. And I was like, all right, X Games coming to San Diego. I'm coming out of retirement. I'm going to show them what the fuck I do, Just 1 year. Just 1 year. So I did the show there because that's what I do.
Yeah.
I just did a show, and the whole crowd started yelling bullshit when my score came out, which was awesome. The whole crowd's chanting. So I won the show, But yeah, it was really cool. 97, 98, I did X Games San Diego. Then 99 up in San Francisco, I didn't do real well. And then 2000, he was supposed to be born. So I was like, I didn't want to go, but GT was like, oh, you gotta go. There's this TV. So during qualifying, I just went out, did a couple tricks, and then I said, all right, I'm going to jump off this wedge, over this platform, over the rail, and land in the motocross section, like on the landing of a jump. So I did that early in the run, and I was thinking, okay, now I get to go home, like, cool, I'll see my son born. And all of a sudden, everybody opens up this path, and they send me back out on the course. I was like, oh, fuck, what do I do now? So I was like, oh, I'll just do a tail tap and nose pick over the spine. And I just cased it, and I hit my chest protector. I was wearing a chest protector. I hit my chest protector on the spine, and like 50-50'd it.
I've seen that footage.
Ate shit hard on it, and I got a lot of coverage, and I went home.
It's your son born. That's awesome.
Yeah. So that was my last X Games.
That is awesome. You've had some wild times. You were just in. You won the chase contest.
Yes, I did. My first ever major contest.
How was that? That was awesome.
At my local park, so I had home field advantage, but I did win it, and it was the best feeling ever.
How did it go down? What were the parameters for the contest?
What do you mean?
Like how did the contest work? It was just
It was just random, like just Dennis and everyone was talking, and it's coming to San Diego, and I was like, oh, cool, like I'll ride it, and then it's at your park, and I was like, time to it's real, like it's coming to my park. Like, I gotta kind of, I was known like through all of Lakeside for that. Like people would ask me like, oh, you're that kid who like won in Lakeside, right?
Oh wow.
And I'm that. Yeah, that's me. And then the girl who made that skate park happen for us always posts about me on Facebook. So it was really cool that I got all of that.
Heck yeah.
And I got to travel to Texas, and I actually didn't have a phone, so I was asking cops if I could use their phone to call Chase and see where I'm at,
Oh wow!
I didn't know.
Holy
I
cow!
got out of the
That's like
airport.
the old days where you have to find the payphone.
That's what I asked for. I asked for a payphone, and they were like, "What?" And I was like, "He's like, you could use my personal." And I was like, "Sick, thank you." And I actually got out in Dallas, but I was supposed to be in Austin, so I got out of the airport in Dallas, and I got a hold of him, and he's like,
"Oh, I remember seeing this on Facebook.
Yeah,
the ordeal,
dude." And he told me, he's like, "You got to get in there," and the girl's like, "You got like 15 minutes," and I'm like, "Oh my!" I'm like getting everything, and I'm
That big
sprinting
ass
through.
airport.
Yeah,
I'm
holy
sprinting
cow.
through as fast as I can. My helmet's hitting me in the head. I got my headphones and my everything just holding on to it, and I made it, and it was cool. And I got there, and Pova picked me up, and
That was
rode
tight.
that contest. So
What'd you think of? Was that your first time to Austin?
Yeah, it was my first time ever traveling on
Oh
a bike,
wow.
ever.
What'd you
alone.
think? What'd you think of being on an airplane?
It was awesome.
Yeah.
No, I had traveled, but alone. Like it was my first ever like solo. Like I
remember
think
reading
BMX
your dad's like story on
Yeah.
Facebook. Like
I never
this is
had-
Cole's first time out.
Yeah,
You're not
never
gonna
had
believe
any,
that.
like-
But that's so BMX. Like
Yeah.
it made it happen.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
it ended up getting done.
Yeah, it was perfect. I could tell the story now. So, and I didn't think anything of BMX as like I was like, oh, I'm a little hometown hero, you know, like
Yeah.
kind of riding my bike, and Povo was getting me parts, so I didn't have to really buy parts. So I was really fortunate, and my local bike shop was kind of getting me some stuff. So I was stoked, and then that happened, and I was like, wow, like this is real, you know, like it's kind of like a BMX could be a thing, you know, kind of get a little bit more, travel a little bit more. So
And that's what that's I
hashtagging a lot.
think that's one of the things like we've talked about before. It's just about getting your name out there,
Absolutely.
just and having fun, being a good person. Are you working on any edits? Do you have any videos in the works?
Looking for a filmer, but
They're
yeah,
out
I'm just
there.
kind of
Are they out there?
They're out
where
there.
are they?
Because he's
I'm right here.
struggling.
We got one right
Yeah.
there. They're out there.
I'm right here.
He's struggling.
Yeah, definitely hard to find one of those, especially in San Diego, because Dobie's always super busy, and yeah, just
You got
just
Kyle
super hard.
Carlson. Is he in San Diego or is he in Oceanside? Somebody. There's filmers.
Yeah, there's got to be someone, right?
we can find some filmers. Did you get up here much?
No, this is my first time in LA. Actually,
Really?
Like as I've gotten older,
Really?
I think this
Been
is
to
the first
Orange
time.
County a few
Yeah,
times.
yeah.
and Shit, man.
It's weird how the people don't really mix. The if you're from the OC, you don't normally come up here. If you're from Hollywood, even if you're from OC, you don't go to SD. You know, it's like a weird. It's not like there's any animosity. It's just like it's far and everybody hates traffic. You know, we can all deal with like sitting in traffic for an hour and 15. Anything over an hour 15, fuck it. I'm not coming to see you.
Yeah.
Like I'm just that's it. How would you describe California to people that have never been here?
It's an interesting question coming from you. So.
Well, that's what I mean. It's just you also think of our demographics. So it's a lot of BMX riders that see this, and I know that I was the same way living in Ohio. Well, it's different for me because I grew up on magazines of you guys out here, and I just dreamed that BMX must be on every corner in California.
Totally,
That's like
it.
that's what it's gotta be, right? And it's cool because when I moved here like 7 years ago, I moved to Long Beach, and Long Beach was then and is now still is a massive city for BMX. And it was almost like I came full circle because I remember like sitting at a light and I would just see like 4 kids in Long Beach on BMX bikes that I've never seen before. I'm like, holy shit, this is how California
Yeah,
is.
that's awesome. That's so cool.
What's California like?
It's freezing right now.
Yeah, it is very.
Really
It is
cold.
very. It's
I'm
never
not
been
used
this
to
cold.
Yeah, I'm freezing up, but skate parks everywhere. The best skate parks everywhere, and
The weather.
yeah, the weather's
Yeah,
awesome.
that's you can't
It's
beat
always-
it.
Yeah.
Do you have any no bike skate parks down by you guys?
No, it's we can ride wherever we want. Like,
Oh, see, there's a couple here. Venice, you'll get shot
but
at.
that's locals, right? That's just locals like protected.
Yeah.
Actually, we have Washington Street Skate Park. Washington's like super strict. Like skaters bought it off the city, I guess.
Oh,
and
really?
like they'll
You don't
throw
know about
bricks,
the skate
bricks at your windshield.
Oh,
if you
that's
try
the
By
one.
to-
It's,
Dennis's.
it's under the bridge.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
Dennis
yeah,
has
yeah,
gotten
yeah,
to
yeah.
ride there. He lives right there, so
Yeah.
he rides there. He's ridden there before, but
They probably let him. They're not gonna.
yeah,
they're-
it's
they're not-
Dennis. I
they're
mean,
not
come
gonna
on.
mess with
He
him.
earned his respect.
They're not
He's
gonna
got the
mess with him.
respect.
What I don't even want to say advice. What words do you have to any of your fans over the years? Because I know there's going to be a lot of people that watch this podcast that have just been wondering what the heck Dave Voelker's been up to.
They
What do you-
support him like crazy on every Instagram
dude.
post. They blow him
Oh,
up.
of
so
course
that's
they
cool
do.
that they're
Of
like that.
course
That's
they do.
awesome.
That's why literally I was so pumped when you guys agreed to do this because outside of the documentary they did on you, there's not a lot of information on you. And like there's people like me, old BMX nerds that had pictures of you with the chains and the grease on the wall. That's like a real thing.
people-
Can we
love
talk about that?
Yeah, please. See, there's an ad.
So GT had nicknames for all their athletes, always. And here I am. I didn't give a shit about nothing. I just wanted to ride my fucking bike. And then all of a sudden they're like, hey, we want to run this ad with you. We're going to put these chains on you and put this makeup on you and make you look like somebody you're not, basically. And we're going to call you Lord Volker because
That's how it
that's
started?
what Magoo thought of. He was like, oh, we'll call him Lord of the Streets, Lord Volker. Yeah. So yeah, so basically,
That's
I
amazing.
do this ad and I'm embarrassed because it's somebody I didn't want to be. I don't know who the fuck that guy is. You know what I mean? I just wanted to ride my bike, and that's all I cared about.
But even back then, it was so weird because it was like, even as a 14-year-old kid that's seeing that ad, I never saw it as cheesy, or I never saw it
fuck
as.
yeah, I was Lord Volker.
You were Lord of the Streets. Lord of the Streets. How funny is it for you to look back now and see some of the stuff that we would wear, or some of the riding,
The cutoff gloves.
the
Did you have the
trends?
dyno cutoff gloves?
Oh, that's
The fingerless
the
gloves.
fingerless gloves. That was your thing. How many pairs of dyno shoes did you run through in your career?
God, yeah, they were going fast.
God,
dude.
we used to back then. You know, anything BMX you get your hands on, and everybody wore Vision Streetwear shoes, and then all of a sudden Dyno comes out with shoes, and you're like, fuck. A BMX company is coming out with shoes. Give them to me. They were the worst shoes. To
Like
this
slippers.
day, I think I've got like gout to this day because of the Dyno shoes.
Yeah, they were horrible. And GT made everything, so I couldn't run other products. You know what I mean?
Right.
I was like, God, I got to run their shirts, their everything.
Right.
Everything. They made everything. Bike parts, everything.
What do you think the most ridiculous invention in BMX was? 'Cause
I don't
you
know.
lived
I mean,
you lived through a wild era where people were just
Team Weed
creating
stuff
some
is so
stuff.
funny.
seats,
Love it.
seats that have rollers on them. So if you
Yeah,
have your bike upside
Yo
down,
seats.
it
The
would-
Yo seats. It was Schwinn that
Oh,
made
that's
those.
great.
With the Yo seats.
But then it popped out in the front, so it would grab your bars. Your bars would
For,
lock up against it.
What is on? We always talk about funny things. Nate's got these 5-inch pegs that he's producing that we just keep busting his balls about.
5-inch pegs. You're not missing a crook on those. You a stick.
If you always run, were you 2 pegs or 4 pegs?
Four, always,
4 pegs
yeah.
always.
Yeah.
4 pegs.
I run 3 actually because I clip my heel on him.
Oh,
Like,
really?
on the back when I'm doing manuals. And when I loop it, for some reason I can't figure out how to like make my legs go around it. So I clip it, like clip my.
Oh,
back
that's
heel.
interesting.
So I can only put one friend on the front.
Because you're tall. You're a tall, very tall man. How big is your foot?
It's only like 11 and a half.
11
I got
and
a
a
small
half.
foot for how tall I am.
6'3". You think
Parker
you're gonna get? Are
Heath
you
is
done
like
growing?
13.
He's only 18.
I
so-
know. That's the thing.
Steve Woodward style, Chris Doyle. I don't know. Maybe I'll be like that.
Underrated rider right there. Steve
Woodward,
Woodward.
yeah.
Steve, there you
Holy
go.
shit.
over
There you
ice
can
with
both
no-
agree
with no
on it.
holy
Shout out to you,
shit,
Steve
yeah.
Woodward, you G.
Yeah.
Another San Diego legend. Legend. Give me some more San Diego legends. You guys got a bunch of them in your little nook down there.
Yeah. Steve
We've
just
named a
stands
lot
out.
of them.
Yeah,
We've named
Steve
a lot of
is
them already.
just, everything I've seen him do is just so good.
And him being best friends with Dennis and all that, how did he not blow up? That's what I trip on. He's doing those axle stalls on shit.
And he made
Ugh.
it, and Woodward made it look so good, especially another big, tall rider, that he just like, oh, he was so good. I haven't seen him forever. I saw him at Ray's Mountain Bike Park. He did like it was like a doubles contest with him and another mountain biker, and that's the last time I saw him. But shout out to Steve Woodward. We should get him out here. He'd be a good one to have out here.
Check him
Yeah,
out.
awesome.
He's been posting lately. He's doing some
I,
Yeah,
see,
he
shit.
street
I
rides all
follow
day
him. I
long.
see that he takes breaks. He takes work breaks, and
Yeah.
he'll go and ride. So shout out to Steve Woodward.
Yeah.
Anything else you guys want to say? Any thanks you guys want to shout outs? Any shout outs?
First, I gotta mention how much he is stoked on this right here, right now.
Listen. The honor literally is all mine. I'm so pumped, just for the viewers, because Cole's gonna be. The kids are gonna love Cole, but the grown-ups, we're gonna love you.
Yeah,
The family.
The family is gonna love you. So yeah, and this is BMX. That's the best part. You know, BMX families are awesome. Like I don't know, you guys might not have seen Fu and Max.
I
You
did
know,
see that. I just went on my phone and saw
yeah,
it.
they were here. I was hoping we were gonna be able to time it right, so because we were thinking about doing a double father-son podcast with you
Oh,
guys,
awesome.
but they did it early, so we weren't able to do it. But no, it's always super rad to watch BMX love get passed down from generation to generation. And
Yeah, it's awesome.
to have 2 shredders that are like you still around and still killing it is awesome for us.
What were you gonna say? I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Thanks John Pova for everything.
Pova's a G.
John Pova.
John
Without
Pova.
him-
Yes. Hell yeah. No, he helped me out over the years so much. And then Skirto. God, I gotta
Skirto at
thank
Oakley?
Skirto.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. So good, those two cats, man. Right on.
Pova hates scooters, by the way. So like when we were at old school BMX reunion,
Yeah.
I'd be riding my scooter and he would just tear me apart all day long, dude. And then now he's on me, you know. He's like a buddy of mine, like kind of putting me onto some stuff. So that's really cool to like have that. But he hated me.
He's a good one, and
yeah.
he's a good one because he's honest and he doesn't pull any punches. He'll tell you exactly how it is.
Yeah,
and
no
bullshit.
No
and
filter
that's
on
what
that
BMX
guy.
is all about too. It's like just give it to me raw. We should get him on here. He'd be a good one to
Oh,
get
it'd
on
be
here.
hilarious.
Well, any other thanks?
Thank you to the family, man. Like,
Dude, thank you
everybody
guys.
out there, like, fuck, I can't believe that, and I'm going to be doing some shit in the future to where I get to go and hang out with a bunch of people all over the country and stuff. So it's going to be fun.
Heck yeah, we'll keep
Can't
us
really talk about it yet, but it's going to be fun.
I like this. Well, we'll keep posted on your Instagram. If you guys are in Southern California, go to OB Skate Park. We might see these two gentlemen out there. Legends, thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you.
You guys are checking out TCU TV. My name is Catfish Swagger Jacker. We just had an amazing interview with the Volkers. Like and subscribe. Leave us a comment who you want us to interview next. What old school legend, anybody. We're in this. Thank you for watching. Peace. That was fucking awesome. Holy